Hello, and welcome back to the Live Reality Game Podcast. My name is Steven Stewart, and I'm thrilled today to be here for more Surviving Reelfoot First Fire content. And joining us today, she is tied for the top votes received for the season. She has maybe three names. We'll have to figure out which one. Debra, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Steven, how you doing?
I am doing well. We were both chatting beforehand. Our summer break is kind of coming to a close. You faster than me.
Yeah, I'm ready to get back to it, but sure would love another month of summer.
I have to ask, so do you prefer Debra, Deb, Bra? What would you like me to call you for the duration of this podcast?
Steven, please just fluctuate between them because I'm known by the different names on different orgs. So just fluctuate between them. Be good with me. I'm playing one now where I'm Bra.
So talk to me about the decision to be called Bro. Was that like spur of the moment? Was that planned? Is that something you've just never been called before? Like, why not?
Okay, so a friend of mine had sent me a meme, and it said, for all Debras, they tend to go by Deb. Why not Bruh? And I'm like, Bruh, I like it. So my grandson calls me Bruh all the time, but that not as in a nickname, just that's all he says to anybody. And I just like, hey, I like that. So I'm going by Bruh, period. Bruh, period. Okay.
And so you mentioned you play orgs and you go by different things by different orgs. What are the other names you've had people call you in orgs?
It's just Deb or Debra. I have been known on some other games, not orgs, but just my gaming name has been Squigglehead Mitt. But it's just a name I picked up long time ago.
So how did you fall into the org community?
Accidentally during COVID. James Sai Salavant down in the Philippines had put out just a little tiny comment on a Survivor page I was following on Facebook, and it just said, anybody interested in playing a Zoom Survivor, let me know. And so I contacted him. I was very nervous about it. I making sure it wasn't like a scam. It was only $10 to play, and I'm like, I don't know. I've never heard of this before, but what's $10? I'll give it a shot. And it was called Zoomvivor, and I had an absolute blast. It was the most fun that I'd had in a long time. And so from there, it just grew. I've only done his org. I tried a Traders, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. And I'm in one right now run by Shaw. Shaw Ashley, I think is his name. And I'm having a good time in that one. So that's how I was in orgs.
So you play that org, you kind of learn there's a million different orgs out there. How did you learn then about live rally games and Surviving Reelfoot?
Well, it really shocked me. I'm like, this is so cool. I was on this org and I'm like, this is the greatest. How come I've never heard of this? And I didn't know there were other ones. But I was invited to, of course, watch season 3. I was on season 2 of Zoomvivor, and I was watching season 3, and I met Sherry McPherson just watching it. And she and Dakota, it starts with a T, I'm not sure. They were on it, and they were an amazing duo. I watched them, and I thought, this is really cool. And so we were talking later, just chit-chatting through Facebook, and I was telling them I watched their season, and we watched yours too. So we got to talking, and Sherry told me that she was hosting a live org. And I'm like, what? I mean, a live, I guess it wouldn't be an org, a live reality game. I was like, really? She said, yeah, you want to be in it? I'm like, yeah. So I drove to Virginia and was in her very first Sensation, S-I-N Station game, and loved it. I'm like, this is the greatest. It's even better than the org I did. And so she invited me back the second time to her Blood versus Water, I think is what it was called. And I came in and had a good time on that one. And that's how I found out about lives. They're the greatest. I'd rather do a live any day. It's the greatest.
So you played Sensation. What other live games had you played prior to Reelfoot?
Just the two sensations.
So you apply for Reelfoot. You learn your cast for it. Now, what do you know about Reelfoot going into the experience?
I knew a little bit because on the second sensation, um, there was a girl on there named Kiri. Kiri?
Yep.
Is that her name? Yeah,
Yep.
Kiri. I'm sorry, I'm drawing blanks. I don't know why. And she and I had teamed up, and I really, really liked her. I thought this is good. We're going all the way. And then I messed it up by not talking to her at one point, and she was thinking I had flipped, and so she flipped on me. It turned out it was just a communication error, but she had to leave Sensation during the final tribal, I think it was, and hop on a plane to go to Reelfoot. And she had told me about Reelfoot, and I'm like, this is pretty neat. And she said she thinks it's going to be harder than Sensation. And Sensation was a good challenge, but she was talking about how cold it was going to be, and I gave her my pajama pants, which were super super thick, and she wore them throughout her whole time as her actual pants. And I watched her season, and this is what I want. I want to do a Survivor that is as close to the real thing as you can possibly get. I want to do this, and so I applied.
Have you ever applied for the CBS TV show?
I was going to between season 3 and season 4, I was going to submit my tape, and I really believe I would have been chosen. And my husband asked me not to because the girls were so young. He wasn't sure he could handle them by himself. And that's the only reason he asked me not to. He said, when they're older, go for it. But I had the perfect in, and I think I would have been chosen so quickly with my video. And I'd already processed it out. I was going to make it. I knew I would be chosen because I'm a preacher's wife who at the time rode a motorcycle and drinks and cusses. I'm like, that is such a unicorn, you know? And I just knew I would be chosen with coming in on my hog and hopping off and holding my Bible and talking about my husband and my life. And I just knew I'd be chosen. But I think he really thought I would be chosen too. And that's why he said, please just put it off a few years. Then as the girls got older, I got busy and I just felt like it wasn't the right time. Now I'm probably too old to do it.
Did you pull that off for your Surviving Reelfoot audition video?
I did not, but I had a better one. Well, I won't say it was better, but it was more whimsical. And they said they'd never seen an application video like mine. And they said they had to meet me. And that's how I got on the show. That's how I got on Reelfoot. Mine was really kooky and fun. And I came up in the beginning of it holding a stuffed fish in my mouth and a butcher knife, and I came up and took the fish out of my mouth and introduced myself, and I said, and I am what you want. I am the one you need. I can hunt. I can fish. And then I had a bandana on, and I had 2 little potted trees around me. And then I moved to a different area of the house and had like a tent fort made with a blanket fort made, and said I could make shelter doing with the same plants. And so I just had a great time with it, making fire, and I burnt myself making the fire and just having a good time with it. And they said they'd never seen one like it. And I probably could use that for the real Survivor and probably get noticed, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm a little old for it now.
I'll try and see what happens, right? What's the worst comes the worst is you're on Fiji trying to win $1 million.
Yeah, I might submit a tape. I probably should.
So you get cast. What do you do to prepare for the game?
Okay, so I had 2 hip replacements within the last 4 years. So I had to do a lot of prep work, just getting my muscles around my hips working in ways that I knew would allow me to climb better, to run a little bit better than I was able to. So I did more physical training than anything. I studied up on the mushrooms of the area in case there was a chance that I could find mushrooms, which I did look. And I practiced my fire making skills, but I already had those. I could start a fire with flint from the time I was probably 8 years old. So it was more the physical, getting my body back able to do some things that since my hip surgeries I had not been able to do.
Strategy wise, were you coming in with a set strategy, or was it going to be more amorphous, or what did you want to do in the game?
Strategy, I came in blind. I'm not good at the strategy, and that was the other thing. I've realized that I probably need to switch gears and go a different direction because I just can't quite figure it out. I came in prepared to lie, prepared to cheat, not on the competitions, but just in the tribe, prepared to play a game. And then when I got in it, I don't know, it didn't flow the way I expected it to socially. There were people who knew people and knew more people than I could even imagine knowing going into this. I knew one person and they were on the other tribe. And that's the only person I knew going into it. So I didn't have any pre-made, walk in the door, see people and go, oh, I've got a lot of alliances here. And I tried to work my way into an alliance, but I really think they saw me as just an easy person to keep around if they needed a vote. But when they felt like they had to get rid of somebody, I was also an easy out the door. So I just didn't quite.
Technical difficulties.
Are you still there? Yeah, you're still there. Let me.
I can hear you. I just can't see anything. All right, I can see you, but I can't hear you. I think you're muted or your mic's off. Can't hear you. Yeah. Do you want to try exiting and rejoining, perhaps? Yeah, it happens to the best of us. All right. Day's going well. Oh, this is interesting. All right.
How about it?
All right. You're back,
Okay.
and I can hear you.
Good. Good. Where were we?
So we'll definitely talk about kind of the relationships, especially like some of the surprise relationships.
Try again. You're going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of static for a second there.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. So we'll definitely follow up on the different relationships, especially with your tribe.
I hear it when you're talking. Do you hear it when I'm talking?
It sounds like there's a feedback loop or something like that.
You want me to try exiting and coming back in again?
Yeah, so I'll kick you and then let's have you rejoin.
Okay.
All right, round 3, we got this. Responding to your question, Josh, days going well. I mean, it's wild that this is the last interview of the Reelfoot season for me. I'm excited to hear what Deb has to say. I think she's a very interesting story given how her pre-merge tribe shaped up, and especially with how you have this dominant alliance of Aliana, Allison, Chad, and Jessica. All right.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Can you hear me? I guess you can.
I can hear you. Let's see if this works.
Try it again.
Okay. So yeah, still getting some static.
Yeah, we're frozen too. I haven't done anything different over here. I don't know what's going on.
Either.
Steven, can you email me the link?
Yeah, I can email you the link. Do you want text me your email and I'll send you the link?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'm gonna kick you again. All right, we're gonna make it happen. I don't know how we're gonna make it happen, but we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna have some on live technical difficulties. Definitely when this gets uploaded as an audio file, there will be some cleaning. All right, Josh. Any more questions to help fill the air as we wait for Debra to rejoin? Otherwise, I can meander about things. I'm interested. I'm going to try to actually watch Survivor Australia this summer. I don't know how, because Australia has so many episodes come out. All right. Josh says, I think she had a genuine shot to make the merge had she just had a swap. I'd seen her like Barb in my season where she was making easy connections, just a matter of not having to win more. You know, I mean, there are a lot of players, Josh, who I think were let's see, what players wanted to swap this season? Juan, Andrew, Nina, Rob, Kobe, and Debra. I think were the 6 people who probably most wanted to swap. You know, it is interesting given like how her tribe worked, where like she was in the majority at that first vote, and they just kind of said like, we don't need her. It'll be interesting, like, you know, if there was a chance for her like to get more into that majority somehow. You know, Josh, this is gonna be funny. In terms of my thoughts in an old school type season, I do love no swaps because it's kind of like it really gets the idea of like what is who's on top of a tribe. All right, Debra is back. Can you hear me? Debra, can you hear me now? I can see you, but I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Does your computer have a mic or something like that? Sorry, I'm not getting anything from your side. Do you have like Bluetooth headphones or anything like that you can try? Because it looks like you're on a computer now versus your phone. Josh with some challenge narration, bruh, struggling. So Josh, I think that was one of my favorite parts of the season. Was your commentary during the challenges? I think you're really leaning into it, and I'm appreciating it. Especially hearing everyone's thoughts about your commentary during the endurance challenges. Oh yeah, now I can hear you.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yes. I beat this computer.
All right, and we are back.
Yes.
All right, so you arrive in Tennessee. Who did you travel with in the car ride from the airport? Who were you in a lockdown room with, and did it end up mattering?
I drove myself from Georgia to Reelfoot, Tennessee, and I was by myself in my hotel room. And then when I got to Reelfoot, I was put into a holding room with just me and Carrie, and she's production. I had no one. I did not lay eyes on anyone to make an eye connection. Like I said, I was just, other people rode together. They were, I didn't even get to see who was on the teams till it started.
Did Carrie give you any advice coming into the game?
Nope. I didn't talk to Carrie at all. They told us not to. They told us not to let anyone know that we were going. And I'm a rule player. I did not tell anyone except my best friend and my husband and my mama that I was going. Well, I did tell my daughters, but they knew something was up. So, but I didn't tell anybody. I never posted it. Carrie and I were friends on Facebook Messenger, did a lot of talking. And then all of a sudden, because I got chosen, I cut it down to just, very basic chit chat, nothing. Sam and I didn't talk at all. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't let anybody know what was going on. So rule player over here.
So the game begins. You find out you're on the Orange Nada tribe. Now, you had mentioned that there was someone you did recognize in the game that was on the Purple Kanane tribe.
Yes. I recognized Sam. Sam and I had played Sensation together. And I felt good when I saw her. I said, well, at least I know somebody. And maybe when we merge, if I make it that far, I might have a connection there. But didn't know, because who knows what, how people are teaming up. So, no, didn't know anybody on my tribe.
Looking at your tribe, what was your initial impression of the group of people you're with?
When I just looked at them, I thought, this is going to be good. When I got to talking to them, I said, this is going to be great. I was very happy with the tribe I was on. Now, I didn't even see the other tribe yet. I still have just seen my tribe. And I just felt like this is good. We're going to do well.
So you start with a long reward challenge. Talk to me about this challenge for you.
Okay. Well, here's the kicker. When we walked out to our mat before the actual challenge began, and we were just standing there and people were saying, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? Who can do what? And I looked at them and I said, one of my strengths, and it's a strong one. First off, I swim. I swim very well. I'm a distance swimmer. I'm not speed, but I swim, a couple miles. Well, I swim about 3 miles a week. So about a mile a day for 3 days. So, and that's a lot. That's a lot of swimming if anybody knows swimming. But the other strength I had was I will eat anything. No question about it. Put it on my plate. I'll scarf it down. Doesn't bother me at all. And then, oh my gosh, did you want to bring up the first actual table meet or
you have to
step, or do you want me to bring it up?
Please.
Okay. So we run down, we pick up our crates. Several of the guys picked up crates. We're running back. We run to the first station. Now this, you got to remember, this is middle of the afternoon. It is hot as Hades. I mean, it is awful. And now another thing is I'm not supposed to run, but I do. And I'd been working on that. So I felt good about it. I knew I'd be slow, but I knew I could still do it. And we get to that first station. I thought it had been about a half a mile before we got there. They're telling me now it was like 0.2 of a mile. I don't know. But I got there and there was a quart jar of mayonnaise and a big pack of bottled water. And they said, you've got to eat the jar of mayonnaise and as a team, as a tribe, and drink. I think it was 20 bottles were in there, and they cut it down to the 10, or there were 24 and they cut it down to 12. Anyway, they said half. And so I'm like, okay, I can eat mayonnaise. Don't like it that much. I mean, I like it on sandwiches, but I don't like to just eat it. But I can do this. And then I took a bite, a big heaping bite, and I thought to myself, what the hell is this? I'm sorry. Am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
All right. I said, what the hell is this shit? It wasn't mayonnaise. It was vegan mayonnaise. And there were no eggs in this thing. And I'm like, what is this consistency? I mean, I've had vegan mayonnaise before and I like it on a sandwich, but the consistency was like nothing I'd ever put in my mouth before. This was awful. And I didn't even get any eggs out of it to keep me going. But okay, so I got it and I'm like, okay, got it down. And it took a lot to get it down because it was so thick. It was thicker than pudding. It was thicker than a good thick pudding. That's how thick it was. Way thicker than regular mayonnaise. And a couple of other people put a spoon in and took a bite. And I'm like, well, I know I can eat it. And they're all sitting there choking on it. So let me just go to town. I'm shoveling it in. And a couple of people took another bite, but I'm taking these big giant bites. I'm leaning over the table. I'm just shoving that stuff in. Put a big old mouthful in, drink some water, swish it around so that it's not so thick and I can swallow it. I got that mayonnaise down. And I'm thinking, based on how little the others ate, I think I probably ate about 28 ounces of the 32 ounces of mayonnaise. And then putting all that water in my belly too, mixing it up. So I think it was Eliana, I think she was having trouble getting her last bottle down. I said, just give it to me. I'll drink it. So I chugged the rest of her bottle. So I had all this water in my belly, all this mayonnaise in my belly, and we had to take off running again in that heat. And we had to round the corner and go up the hill and then toss a ring. I'm dying. My stomach is saying, girl, you effed me over. You did. My stomach's saying that. And I'm like, I just want to throw up. And I couldn't throw up. And it just, and I let everybody toss. And finally it was my turn. So I tossed. I think it took 3 tries and I rang it because I didn't have the energy to keep going and picking it up because I was going to hurl. So then we had to run to the next one. And again, they're telling me it's only like 2/10. They're telling me the whole thing was only 2 miles. That thing had to have been 5 miles, but they showed the route. But it had to have been 5 miles in that heat. So we get down to the next one, and it's the picture frame one. Has anybody talked about the picture frame one?
I know that one shows off his skills at the end of this.
He did. But before he went, because they're all, trying to figure out how to do it, I'm on all fours on the ground, needing to throw up, praying to God to throw up. Please let me throw up. And finally it comes. And there is a wonderful picture of the spew of white coming out my mouth. There's a good picture of the spoonful going in, and there's a good picture of the spew coming out. And in the picture, you can see Juan is standing right next to me, taking care of me. He was so worried about me, and it was so sweet. Then we did the picture frame, and it was so nice. The guys literally picked up those of us that are short, picked us up and fed us through the picture frame and set us down. It was beautiful. Our tribe was amazing. We lost it on the puzzle, but we had it all the way through. We were right there with them. We were a great tribe. Juan did his magic act, diving through that thing. And I was really worried about him too, because he kind of hit hard on the back. I was really worried about him. But he did it, and he said he was okay. Then we had to get to the puzzle. And we get there. Now, I want to say on the record, as I was running, I had to walk some. I was sick from that mayonnaise and all that water. I would walk, I would trot, I would walk, I would trot. But I want to tell you, there were people who were just as slow as me, who were right beside me. And they say they were taking care of me. They weren't. They were just as worn out and hot and sicky feeling as I was. And we got to the puzzle, put the puzzle together. We had a really hard time on the puzzle. And the puzzle, I think, is where we fell so far behind. They got the puzzle done really quick. Our puzzle making they were arguing over it. People taking pieces, trying to make it. It was not a pleasant experience at the puzzle. And then when we heard the gong, it was done.
A couple things. Josh would like to point out you may have also hit your shirt as well when you were throwing up.
I may have hit my shirt.
It's like all over the shirt too. Is this comment? I think.
Oh, I didn't see it on the shirt, but I know I'd poured a lot of water on me, so it's possible. It certainly could have been on the shirt.
And I think I think throwing up was likely better than Isaiah having some gastrointestinal distress later on as a result of eating so much vegan mayo. So I think you had the better solution to like eating that much
Getting
mayo,
that
but
stuff
it
out.
made an impression.
Yeah, getting that stuff out was the. I kept saying, I've got to get this out of me. There is no way this can stay in me. And I did have a little gastric distress with it. It definitely loosened things up. Let's put it that way.
And I will say, regarding challenge performances, I think looking back on your game, from everything I can tell, there is no challenge which you do not do well in.
You got it, man. You got it. And that's what made me so mad when I got voted out. The reason they gave me, it was a stupid reason. Just be honest with me that you have all know each other and that you have created your own little alliance. Don't hand me that bullshit. Yeah. Don't tell me I was the weakest one. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Yeah. So you finish the challenge. You don't win, but you get your supplies and you go to camp. Talk me about those opening hours of the game.
Oh, it was great. We all got along so well. Everybody went out looking for wood. We were making the fire. The fire went great. We had a fire in no time. It was a good setup. And I tell you, we got the worst camp. I'd have rather had our camp than theirs any day. Granted, it wasn't as wide and spread out. We didn't have the floor built for us. Laying on hard plywood, I'd rather been on the ground, honestly. And then our guys, our people, our tribe built the most amazing lean-to. And they used all the leaves and they had them all laid on. We didn't get wet when it drizzled a little bit. We weren't exposed. We had a beautiful lean-to and it was soft and comfortable. We worked well together. It was a great tribe.
So who did you feel like you were making good connections with early on?
All of them. I really did. I really thought, this is good. I'm getting along with everyone. I know that I got along real well with Juan and with Colby. Colby and Juan and I got along great, even though I didn't really talk to Colby a whole lot. We didn't argue about anything. There was no fussing. Later was when we connected better. But Juan was just fantastic. And then I got along with Aliana very, very, very good. So Aliana and Juan were the two that I connected with the best at the beginning.
So let's kind of talk about some of the opening twists that you have in the game. The first is you arrive at camp and there's this cryptex in the fire pits. Talk to me about the cryptex and what your thoughts about it were.
Colby found it and he showed everybody right off at the beginning. And I was impressed by that. Then he kept playing with it. He didn't want to let go of it much. People would ask for it, try it for a little while, and he'd ask for it back. He was very intent on getting that cryptex open. I didn't know what to expect. I was fine with someone else trying it. I tried it a couple of times. I think I would have liked to have had it for a while, but I would have never come up with the word that it was. But it didn't cause any strife at the beginning. Everything was kumbaya.
So were you aware of the letters in the forest, or were you searching for those?
I didn't know anything about the letters. Our tribe only found 2 or 3 of them. I still don't know where the rest of them were. Nobody does. We couldn't find them. Somebody found one and told somebody else. And then they started looking. I think it was Colby. I don't remember who it was that found one and then told someone else. But I noticed Colby and I want to say Chad over at a place where I had suggested we possibly build our shelter. But they were over there and they were standing facing into the woods and they could have been peeing. I think they were. But they stayed there a lot longer than a normal pee would last. And I was watching them. And then I said, okay, something's going on. So they came back and I waited till nobody was watching. And then I grabbed, I want to say Aliana, and we walked over there. Jess might have been with us. I'm not sure. But we walked over there and started looking. and I saw a piece of bark leaning against a tree, and I went over and moved it, and there was a letter. I'm like, huh, so there's letters. That's the only letter I saw in our camp. People came back and told me other letters that they found, and I'd ask where they were, and they'd say, oh, down there. I'm like, where? I never saw any other letters.
So it sounds like you weren't really fighting to be the one to open it up then.
I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to be the one to open it, honestly. Those kind of things scare me, especially since it was out in the open. If it had been something private and I had found it myself, yes, I would have fought hard to open it. But since it was out in the open, it don't matter what it is, it's going to be a target on your back if you open it. If it's yours, if you get it, if you get something like an advantage or an idol and people know about it, it's going to hurt you.
Let's talk a little bit more about Kobe, because it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride with your relationship with them, right? There's, I think, I don't know if it's end of day one or beginning of day two, but you both have confessionals where Kobe's like, I like Deb, I want to work with Deb, and then you're just like, I don't trust Kobe, I don't want to work with Kobe. Like you have these conversations and walk with opposite reactions. And I was wondering how much the cryptex was factoring into those impressions you were having of Kobe.
It did a lot. But more than anything, he didn't talk to me at all for a long time. And then when he did come talk to me, what he said, I can't even remember what it was, but there was something in what he said make me think he was lying. And so I didn't trust him because he didn't come to me ahead of time. We didn't talk a whole lot. Are you getting feedback on me right now?
You're good.
Okay, good. I was getting some, but it's okay as long as you're not getting it. So I didn't trust him, and he kept spending so much time with that cryptex and walking off with it, being gone with it. I didn't trust him at the beginning. I did grow to trust him later, but I didn't trust him at the beginning.
At what point would you say things turned around with your relationship with him and you started to trust him again?
When I was up for eviction and he was fighting for me.
Because I feel like Kobe was strangely was like probably one of the most ardent supporters of you staying in the game when it got to that round.
Yeah, and I didn't even know how much he fought for me, and I didn't know really whether to trust him when he said he was fighting for me. But I'd have done anything he said at that point. The first time I was up for eviction, when Jay West went home, I just didn't trust Colby much there because I don't know, that was still in the stage where I wasn't trusting him much. I put all of my faith. Huh?
He did vote for you, that tribal council too.
Yeah. Aliana was the one I put my trust in on that one. And then can we talk about that one, that first one?
We can talk. Are
you ready for that?
Yeah, we can skip ahead to that.
Okay, no, we can go back. We can get to it later. You tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do things nonlinear but otherwise, my next question is going to be about the immunity beads that everyone has.
Yes. What you want to know about them?
What were your thoughts about this? How do you want to use them?
I was hoping I would get an alliance and have 2 other people and use them to keep whoever gets voted first alive.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't get that far.
And we'll definitely talk more because you do end up giving your bead away to Juan pretty early on.
I do. Yes. I gave it to him when I thought I was going out the first vote.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
No, please.
I really thought I was going out, and I did not want to take it with me. I wanted them to have. I didn't want it as a trinket to hang on my board.
Though I'm not gonna lie, it would look good there.
It would look great there, but I didn't want a trinket there. I would rather have helped my tribe. I would rather have helped the person I was in an alliance with, which was Juan, I thought. I still think that he would have fought for me had the other group not just played their game so beautifully. But back to the story. when I thought that I might be going home, I handed it to him. And I said, don't tell anybody, keep it to yourself. Don't share this knowledge. And if I don't get voted out, I'll get it back from you. He said, absolutely. So that was the bead. And I was kind of glad to get rid of it. I'd rather be in an alliance with 3 people that I trust and have one person hold them. If we had to, that was fine. But yeah.
You have some fans in the chat. Jay West saying that you look great, by the way.
Jay West, mwah, love you. We played. Hey, one more thing. We played Jay West last night. Actually, we had a good time. I've introduced it to my whole family, and they love it.
So, kind of as you round out that first day, how are you feeling?
First day, we're not up. There's no tribal, right? We're just hanging
there's no
out.
tribal. You just done the 2 reward challenges, and you're calling it.
It really was kumbaya. I felt like what were the other challenges?
So you did that marooning challenge that first day, as well as you did kind of Survivor Go Fish or the mixer.
I'm sorry, what?
You have the little blocks of colors. You're asking for the blocks from the other
players.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a cute one. Yeah, so we'd had a good time. We were feeling good. Everyone was happy. I really felt like it was just a great group. Yes, there were a couple of people going off getting wood. I went off with some people to get wood. We went and pooped in the woods. We had a great place. We were existing. Fire was good. We made rice. We were just, I really feel like we were just kumbayaing because we didn't have to do anything else. And there was some alliance talk, but it was all just everybody chit-chatting here and there. It was nice.
How was that first night in the woods?
Cold. Very, very cold. Other than that, it was no problem. It was very, very cold. We used our tarp as a floor instead of something over us. I did make a mistake and bring the wrong kind of poncho for the rain. I thought I had a nice thick one, but turns out it was no thicker than a Walmart bag. And so it was no help at all in keeping me safe from bugs on the ground or wrapping up in to try and be warm. It was pitiful. So if anybody's thinking about doing this, find you a better poncho than the piece of crap. Take it out and test it. Okay. But other than that, it was just cold.
That's why I did my season. I had a very thin poncho that didn't provide any warmth, and so I'd wake up at 3 a.m. shivering every day. That was my experience.
Yes. And Juan and maybe Jay West stayed up all night keeping the fire going. Second night, I took several shifts staying up and keeping the fire going. I'd go stoke it some during the first night, but it wasn't bad. It was just cold, but cold, you can live with that if you want it bad enough.
So over the second day, you have 2 more reward challenges, and you're kind of neck and neck with the other tribe. You win one, they win one. How are you feeling after all these reward challenges?
Well, of course it sucks. When you lose one, it stinks. Can you remind me of the reward challenges that day? Yeah.
So you have to knock off blocks from a table and go reassemble a puzzle. You also have to
rocked that.
You win that challenge, but then you have the challenge with to swim out, collect the blocks, and stack the blocks on this platform, the water. And unfortunately, you are against Rob in this challenge.
Yeah, Aquaman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were against Aquaman. He was. I mean, there's nothing you could do when he brings back all the tiles in the first swim. What do you do with that? I'm a great swimmer. Like I said, distance. And I grabbed what I thought I could have gotten a lot more, but it was taking time. And so I tried to get them back and let someone else go. But that tribe, they had all the blocks they needed from one person going out. And yeah, it's c'est la vie. It was sad, but they got it. can't fault them. They really did a good job on that one. And so we go ahead.
So as a reward from that first immunity challenge, when you get to send one player to the other tribe to raid their camp, Colby ends up going.
Yes. And that's where I didn't mind him going. In fact, that kind of puts a target on people when they go do something like that. It does set them up because everyone thinks they're going to get some sort of advantage. And that's why I certainly didn't want to go. I didn't want people thinking I had gotten an advantage. I'm playing the long con here. I'm trying my best to keep me as safe as possible. And I don't want any targets on my back if I can help it. So knowing Survivor, knowing that is something when someone goes anywhere, they're probably going to get some sort of advantage, or they may lie about it. They may lose their vote. Who knows? But something's going to happen. And so I didn't want anything to do with it. He went. He was happy to go. He was gone. He comes back. And all of a sudden, he can open that cryptex. Do what? So he's sitting across the fire from me. And at this point, I'm feeling really good about him, talking to him and so on. And I watch him start to open it. And I said, I whispered, I said, go to the woods, open it in the woods, go to the woods. But he kept playing with it right there. And he opened it and he put it back. I said, go to the woods. But turns out he got it open, and he had, I think, and I'm not sure because this was something that I was confused about in real life time. I felt like he had, at the moment I saw him open it, I thought it was the first time he had opened it, and I thought I was the only person who knew. But it seems like he may have opened it several times with several people. I'm not sure. I can't speak for truth.
No, you were the first person he opened it with.
Okay, I'm glad you know this. And I was like, please, go somewhere, hide, open it, find out what it is. And I think he finally did, but I'm like, be careful, because he was like playing with it and it just so I was happy for him, but I was also scared for him because, like I said, I didn't know what it was.
And so when he turns the paper into production and brings back a jar of candy, what do you think?
I did not think there was something in the candy. Everyone, I hear that's what people thought. That I didn't think that. I thought it was just candy, but if there was something else, it wasn't in the candy. He got something at the other tribe. My biggest issue was I felt like the other tribe told him the letters or helped him with the letters or the word, because he comes back from the other tribe, sits down, and whoop, it's open. So I didn't trust that aspect of it. And I was using that to my strength. I was like, this is going to be great. I can point the arrow at Colby. This will work for me. And so, next question.
So we're kind of leading up to the first immunity challenge. Could you rank the players in your tribe from most to least important to your game at this point?
Most to least. Again, I'm saying Juan, Aliana, then everybody else.
So it's like those two, then everyone else is equal to you.
Yeah, really, really and truly. I thought Jay West and I might have a connection. In fact, I really did think we did. So maybe you can put Jay West in there right now. Yeah, Jay West in there right now. Jay West and I were good at that.
Did you feel like you had any hard alliances at this point? Or is it more like, these are people I'm feeling really good about, I'm having good one-on-ones with, but not something larger at this point? I
think at that point I was thinking Juan and I had an alliance. Like This is good. We're working well together. I would say we have an alliance. I don't know that the words were spoken.
Are you noticing any other groups or pairings that you're starting to be worried about?
All of them. Everywhere I look, people are meandering here, there, yonder. Not so much before the challenge. It was after the challenge.
Yeah.
Before the challenge, people would wander off. They'd bring back wood. Of course, they're talking. I did too. We're just all kind of moving everywhere. But again, I still felt best with Juan. I felt good with Jay West. I thought the three of us could take this thing. And then Aliana and I connected, and I felt like with her, I just really felt safe. With the two guys and then Aliana, I felt safe.
So did you have anyone in mind, if you had lost the first challenge, which you will, did you have anyone in mind as a potential for first boot or someone you wanted to target?
Colby.
Okay. And
yeah,
were you hearing any names at this point?
There was a supposed girls alliance, and I told Juan and Jay West about it, and I said, I don't want to be in a girls alliance. I want to have an alliance that's not based on anything like that. I want a good, solid alliance. So we did talk about it. I'm not sure if it was before the before the hold on. I'm supposed to go compete in something, but I may or may not go.
If you have to, by all means go, and we can always pick up and continue the interview later.
Let's do that,
okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay.
We haven't gotten very far in this. You're right. It's going to take a little while, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I draw things out. So what we'll do is we'll have this be part one. We'll schedule a day for part two. Part two, we'll pick up at the first immunity challenge. We'll kind of walk through those stages of the game. So
Perfect.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be back for Bruh part two. So get excited for that and have a good rest of your day.
Love you guys.